Welcome back to Stories from the River. I am your guest host, Sam Blum, and I am excited to be speaking with some more of our retail operations wizards today. We will get to introductions here in just a moment. If you missed the last episode, we really started with the OGs and talking about where we came from with guest services and how retail operations was introduced. So in this episode, we're going to talk about where retail operations began and where they are now and where they're headed. So get ready and buckle in.
Welcome to Stories from the River, a show in which we go behind the scenes at Broad River Retail.
All right, you guys, let's kick it off with some introductions and tell us a little bit about your role, what you do for the company, maybe some career journey stuff. Just introduce yourselves to our listeners. Wes, do you want to start?
Sure. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for having us for this episode as well. I'm very excited about it. My name is Wes Dudley. I am the VP of Customer Experience and Retail Operations here at Broad River. I have 37 years of retail experience. I spent 30 years at JCPenney in 17 different roles there. Moved on to Ashley Furniture Industries and was SVP of both the B2B and B2C customer service. Spent a year at Mitchell Gold Bob Williams as VP of Customer Experience, and I've been here the last 2.5 years and I'm loving every minute of it.
Thank you, Wes. We're so glad to have you. All right, Andrew, go ahead.
Thank you, Sam. Hello, I'm Andrew Bartlett. I am the Associate Manager of Retail Operations for the Beast Coast Wizards. A little bit of hype. I have been with Broad River since March of 2022. I started on as the REM of the Glenwood Gladiators, went on to become the Senior REM of the Raleigh Reign in 2023, and just started my journey as the AMRO over the Beast Coast at the beginning of 2025. I came into this role with 20 years of customer service, operations, and departmental leadership experience from all over, between World Market, Kohl's, movie theater experience, and just took on the responsibilities for AMRO and looking forward to seeing what I can do with my experience and, keeping the Beast Coast premier.
Love that. We are so lucky to have you. And you're also an avid LinkedIn poster, aren't you?
For the most part, yes. Recently, I've kind of felt like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my posts, so we'll get to that once I get more comfortable with the AMRO role.
Hey, we're giving you some things to post about today, so
Absolutely.
We'll get there, right? All right, Trina, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Katrina Batchelor. I have been in retail operations now for 28 years, and I recently joined Broad River from the cell phone industry. So I've been here almost 4 years, and I would say that I absolutely love working for Broad River. It's been the best experience so far. Love everybody, our senior leaders. So every chance I get to talk about them is just great. So I'm excited to be here.
Well, good. Hopefully we're going to give you more opportunity to do that during our session today. So let's dig in. When you joined retail ops, because we have a little bit of tenure here, when you joined retail ops, what did it look like? What stood out to you most about the role when you first joined? Andrew?
So when I first joined, the retail ops role was kind of in a transition phase. A lot of it from the surface was, as it still is, focusing primarily on creating life's best memorable moments for both our guests and our memory makers. It just covers the retail experience through communicating our expectations with the memory makers, through like our inventory handling, take with procedures, things like that, to maintaining our brand standards with making sure that our tags are updated and that, we are keeping up with price points so that the guests know exactly what the bargains that they're getting for the premier product that they're also looking to order. And then encapsulating the guest experience with, additional support, with our memory makers through our online presence, through Google reviews and other promoter score applications. That's the surface level. On the back end of it, there was a lot of paperwork. Like I said, we were when I started going through a transition. So getting more into the digital aspect. So things like auditing open orders from, the recent days that our memory makers had set up, resolving potential guest issues or following up with guests, inventory accountability, making sure that our cycle counts, making sure that our deliveries were properly maintained and in the system. So that was kind of how it was when I started. That's kind of just the way that it is now. We're just a little bit more digitally savvy with DocuSign and DocuWare, and making sure that there's a little less paper that we have to deal with, and everything's in a more contained environment.
Awesome. Thank you. I think we have all learned throughout the first episode and now this one already that we have definitely embraced technology, which is a good thing. We came from the Stone Ages and now we are not living in the Stone Ages anymore. So having innovation as one of our core values has really proven itself in the retail operations team especially. I think we have a good idea of what it looked like then, and I know some of it probably still looks the same today, but is there anything different today in the role that you want to mention for our listeners, like anything you've adopted that's new, or something that maybe transitioned out of your realm into someone else's realm that you could take on something else? Like, tell us more about what looks different today.
I kind of struggled with this one a little bit, but I was talking to some of my REMs, kind of going through the questions that for today, and Sally said, Trina, it's not a one size fits all. Every store is different. Every REM's experience is different based on what the need is from them. And so some spend a lot more time being manager on duty, where some might not ever have that. But some of the changes between then and now, outside of really going digital with our credit applications and, a lot of other tools that we have now, we transitioned, some of our tagging responsibilities. Visual department was really, really nice and took some of that off of our plate so that we could focus more on the guest experience.
Love that. So to Trina's point, we have a ton of partnerships and collaborations for retail operations, and visual impact is one of those departments. And the next 2 episodes of this series will be with our collaborating partners. So thank you for teeing that up so nicely for me, Trina. So you are both associate managers for retail operations, which was a very new, big role. I can remember when we first introduced retail ops, sitting in a room with all of our REMs at the time, showing them a career path, and only senior REM was kind of the next step for us at that point. AMRO wasn't even a thought. So it's really cool to be sitting with you guys in this position that is such a big win for our company. But tell us about what your role is as an AMRO, like what makes it unique for you guys.
I mean, I'm still fresh. I'm going on month 4 of the position, and I'm still learning. But the role itself, I feel, big thing is being representative of the collective locations. Kelly, bless her, she didn't have us, she would have to maintain 30 plus stores. So having Trina, Molly, and myself kind of taking on a fraction of that makes the job a little bit easier. And I think having that smaller collective also gives us an opportunity to be a go-between between Kelly and the REMs. And at the same time, me personally, I come immediately from being a senior REM. So I've led the life. I'm still, it's still, the headlights are still in the rear view at the moment. And so I know what they go through. And so I have that rapport. I have that connection with them.
Love that. Love that so much. Trina, anything you want to add?
I was lucky enough to be able to join this role at the inception of it. So I've been in this role for 3 years now. And I knew that in the beginning, the one thing that I was going to have to do was work really hard to help mitigate the relationship between the GM and the REM, kind of bridge that gap between the sales team and retail ops. And so, that was something that I set out to do, and really grow my own personal relationship with the GMs, with the visuals, and just try to collaborate as much as possible to let them know, like, hey, we are a team. No matter what role we have in the business, we're a team. And then really just bring that team situation to my REMs. And listen, they are the best group of women. I don't have any men, but best group of women REMs, and I am so lucky that I get the opportunity to lead them.
I love that. So I think you both kind of shared some of the opportunities from the earlier days, maybe. The relationship between the REM and the GM could be, I don't want to say strange, but it could be different for every store. Like you said, Trina, every store, we have store designations. Let me start with that. So, a Pineville store is our flagship store, and that does a ton of business compared to a store like an Albemarle or a Durham, where it's just a smaller staff, a smaller revenue income. So it could be different for an REM in Pineville, or it definitely is different for an REM in Pineville compared to an REM in a smaller store. And the relationships, like you're talking about, between the REM and the GM of those stores can be very, very different depending on the size store you're in, and the responsibilities that you have. So I think that's a really great point. That's always been an opportunity for us. GMs kind of viewed REMs very differently even 9 years ago. So we tried to get it, as streamlined as possible. So like, this is what the REM's responsibilities are. This is how they should be used in your store. This is what we really need them to focus on. And there's always been kind of like, are you sure they can't help us with this? Because you guys tend to be the kind of catch-all in the store. So thank you for bringing that up. I think that's important for our listeners to know. Okay, Wes, I'm coming over to you now. Since you're newer to the retail operations side, what in your own words does it take to thrive in retail ops today?
I think the team has done a great job at really laying out, like you said, Sam, technology use, process updates. And you are right. I've been with this team about 3.5 months now. Feels like much longer. I love this team, just saying. I think when Will Luke was the senior director of retail operations prior. And, I think that he's really built a lot of policies in place to, as Trina said, from a standpoint of making sure we're taking care of our guests all the way through. I do think, from a standpoint of the thriving piece, I'm kind of digging in a little bit here, but I love the friendly competition with the team. They have the Gandalf Award. They have different awards that they do on a monthly basis. But also just watching the Teams chat in a specific KPI, Google reviews right now, the Teams chat blows up about Google reviews. And I love seeing that, that whole competition piece of it. But also just the culture that's been built here, and that Teams chat also has many times the conversation going back and forth of, happy birthday, happy anniversary, or, one of Andrew's little gifts that he puts in there. He's really great, very creative at those things. And, I just think it's a really fun time about getting across all 33 locations. And when you think about the square footage, or not the square footage, but mileage of the Carolinas and into Georgia, it's just amazing what we see there, and can't wait to see as we move out west into Washington State, how we continue to bring that culture out there as well. So.
Yes, that's going to be a fun initiative. Can't wait to see that come to life. It's going to be super fun. So Wes, I'm going to ask you this too. Our word of the year is pioneer. And we want to know the T. Now that you've been with retail ops for 3 months, what's on the roadmap? What do you have planned? Tell us the details.
I will kind of look at my journey here the last few months. I'll start with that. I think that it was important. I did 101s with everyone on the team, which really helped me get to know them, but get to know what they were doing. We've been looking at SOPs and making some updates to both policies and our normal SOPs that we want to put in play. Again, making it a little more customer friendly, take a little bit more of the pressure off the REMs, just make it more fair for some of those things. And then, the last month or so, been out, working with Trina and Andrew and Molly inside the store and observing processes and just understanding what they're having to do and what their challenges are every day. That's really going to help us drive like what process updates we need into the future. But yeah, there's some things that we're continuing to work on. Kelly and I have been, you met her, I believe, in the last episode, but she and I have been doing some strategy days as well. What does it look like and what support do we need to change or improve? As time evolves and we continue to grow, we need to become more efficient with what we're doing.
Absolutely. Kelly, I worked with Kelly back in the day, and she's just a rock star. So I'm so glad you guys still have Kelly around, because she's amazing. And her brain is amazing. Her wealth of knowledge is amazing. Trina, if you could wave a magic wand or change or enhance something about retail ops, what would it be?
I look forward to the day that we have a formalized training program for our REMs. We have a Retail 101 for all of our new hires, but it does focus more so on the sales process, which is understandable. But I would really like to see a formalized training program for our new hire REMs. I love spending, a whole week with my new REMs, because, I'm kind of control freak that way. But, I would really like for them to have a tool that they can use and fall back on. So we're working on that, though. We are working on that.
I love that.
I don't know if it's a magic wand, or maybe the magic wand is just to hurry up and get it done.
Well, maybe it'll be like a pretty hurry up and get it done, like a magic wand would be. I don't know. But we mentioned in the last episode that the control freak, the, difficulty letting go is kind of like a requirement for the retail operations space.
For sure.
You mentioned that, and you hit the nail on the head. I'm the same way. So I completely understand. Andrew, what about you? What would your magic wand moment be?
Just like with Trina, a more standardized training process, but also I would just, as far as a get it done faster mindset, get the technology of the future here right now. We are still developing our processes, and we are still right there on the teetering edge of getting to where we need to be. It's just a couple things to help the processes, like with scanning in trucks, a little bit more information there. How do we digitize the potential for cycle counts, things like that?
More technology. You and Wes are a match made in heaven. Let me tell you what. Wes is all about some technology. He'll do a demo in a heartbeat. Wes, what about your magic wand moment?
Yeah, my magic wand moment is really about consistency. I think that we do have, and it was mentioned several times here, at each of the locations, everybody runs a little differently. And I think if we can create consistency, we can create better support for the team. So that's really the magic wand process I would change.
Love that. So we have training program, long time coming. Long time coming. I remember back in the day, I'm sorry, I digress. I'm the host, but I do this. I digress. So back in the day, we would panic if we had an REM opening and we hired, someone to fill that spot, like who was going to train them, how much time were they going to spend. I would go as much as I could. Kelly would go help. Molly would go help. There was, just a moment of panic that we didn't know what we were going to do because it takes a long time. Like Saurus is a little difficult to learn at first. I mean, you get in your own groove and you get used to it, but it's hard to learn. And then we use DocuWare, and now we use DocuSign, and we have to teach all of these brand new things that this new person is not familiar with, and it just takes a good chunk of time. So that's a good call, Trina. And then Andrew, like you said, just embracing technology more and more and making it more efficient. I love that. And Wes, consistency is key, man. I wish you the best with that. It's hard, especially as we expand to Washington. Okay, this has been great, y'all. Thank you so much for such fun conversation. We are going to end with a fun question. That's my thing. I like to end on a fun. So if retail ops were a fictional character from a book, movie, or TV show, who would it be and why? Who wants to kick us off?
I'll go.
Okay, Trina.
This was another one that I struggled with, so I got some help. I'm not gonna lie, I can't take all the credit. Um, but we decided that we were going to go with Hazel Grace Lancaster from the movie The Fault in Our Stars. She was someone who, unfortunately had cancer. Met a friend who also did, and she decided and made it her job to put him first and to care about him and to push him to be the best and the most that he could be while he was still here. And she didn't give up. And so I would say that, that's something that we do. We don't give up. We care about each other. We push each other to be better and to see the positive. And so, yeah, Hazel Grace Lancaster, Fault in Our
Love
Stars.
it. Okay. I'll have to watch that. I haven't seen it. Sounds good, though.
It's a good movie.
Okay. Who's next? Wes? Andrew?
I'll go next.
Okay.
So mine is Monica Geller from Friends. So I knew Sam would love this one. She's a friend like I am. But one, she's ultra organized and detail obsessed. She handles chaos like a pro. She's great in high stress or guest complaint situations. She keeps everyone in line, makes sure things run efficiently, and will notice if something is out of place.
All I can think about is the ribbon drawer. But where would the ribbon go? Sorry, please go ahead.
No, she's also the kind of person that 100% would color code a system organizing her daily work. So, and it's funny because I think I've had conversations with all the AMROs about organization and work and what they're doing. And so it's just my person's Monica Geller.
I love Monica. I am Monica. She is me. We are one and the same. Thank you for saying her name. That makes me so happy. All right, Andrew, I thought this question would be perfect for you because of your cute little things that you do on LinkedIn. I love them so much. I thought this was a perfect question for you. So I'm so excited to hear.
It's funny you say that because this was actually the first question that I had an answer for when I read over the notes. So it's going to come as no surprise to anyone who knows me or has had a conversation with me. But I feel retail ops, the character that would best fit for retail ops would be the doctor from Doctor Who. And for anyone who's not in the know, it's a 60-year-old TV show, English, very English, where sci-fi, history, all that. And there are a couple points, this is not just me fangirling or anything, but there have been 15 plus iterations of the Doctor. So the Doctor has had many different faces, which I feel is kind of with retail ops as it is constantly evolving. The retail ops role doesn't have the same face every couple of years or so. I mean, again, I've only been with Broad River for 3 years, and the face is not the same as it was when I first started in 2022. Every iteration comes with its own experiences and motivations. So the retail ops team comes from several different backgrounds, several different approaches to how we resolve an issue, what we see as an issue. The character dives into time and space. So sometimes in order for us to do our job, we have to delve into past orders to determine, okay, well, this guest has this issue, or, this memory maker what worked for other memory makers. So how do we resolve it? Also, as far as the space issue, sometimes the issues that we come up with are so weird that it may as well be considered extraterrestrial. And the character always travels with a companion. So, the retail ops role is not a sole singular role that we bring people along with us, whether that be new REMs that we're training or, to Trina's point earlier, developing that relationship with retail performance and helping them basically develop and grow in their experiences, especially when they are tapping into the retail ops portion of their role. And just finally, I'm obsessed with it. I absolutely love this team. And we've just got a great group of people. It's something that, I'm looking forward, just like, this upcoming Saturday is a new Who. I'm looking forward to seeing what new adventures the retail ops wizards and all of the other retail ops departments are in store for as we get through this year of pioneering and in the future.
Awesome. 3 great perspectives. I love that. I haven't seen Doctor Who, but you're kind of enticing me to watch it. My brother's a big fan, so we'll see. We'll see what I do. All right, y'all. Thank you for being here with me today. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I hope you have too. Hopefully our listeners at home now have a really great understanding of where we started, where we are now, and where we're headed. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Stories from the River.
Thanks for listening to Stories from the River. To check out more episodes, visit storiesfromtheriver.com. To watch this episode, go to youtube.com/@storiesfromtheriver. Join us again next week, and remember to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast.